Ah, so, one moment, please. There we go, my mistake. Silly me. So, yeah. That's, one small tune for me, one giant bit of anticipation for you. Okay, I don't know why I got locked all here. I think I'll have to call an excuse again. Okay, there we go. Now we should be ready to go. So, welcome Ariel and Zontos, and everybody who's just lurking. Pleasure to see you all. So, the veteran viewers in here have probably not seen this for quite some time, and the new viewers, you're looking at what I did pretty much exclusively for the first couple of months I was doing this little gig. So, this is Reaper. This is my digital audio workstation of choice. And we're about to make some fucking music. Wonderful. Time to actually, I call myself a musical VTuber, so it's time to actually, live up to that. Hey you, haven't seen you around in a while. Hey you, E. That doesn't work. But, either way, welcome to the stream. So, for those of you who saw the title, you pretty much already know the gimmick of the stream. But then again, there's also a good possibility that you might not understand the reference. So, yes, imagine indeed. Welcome to the stream, Doc. But, yes, so. First off, we have my fancy little guitar plugin. There we go, if I can click in the right place. So, yeah, nothing special there, but now I add the gimmick of the stream. Behold. Guitar gadgets by musical entropy. So, this is a rather obscure little plugin. You've probably never heard of it. Especially considering most of you aren't even musicians, but those of you who are probably still haven't heard of it either. So as the name implies, it is a guitar-focused plugin. Sort of a pseudo-analog sort of idea. Just a bunch of pedals and other various little hardware plugin emulations, where the whole gimmick is to make things sound strange, offbeat, off-kilter, weird. So if you're after the standard tube screamers or wahs or any of that, you will not get them here. So let's before we actually activate the plugins and show you what we do, we have to actually run a part. But I'm not going to put that much effort into it, because the DAW can just do it for me. Why not? So, minor chord, we'll go with an E, we'll give it with 8, and we'll just roll the dice and see what they give us. So obviously nothing that interesting, but that's not the point. We're trying to show off what this plugin can do. So we'll just let it play, and we'll just go through the plugins one by one. So first of all, Commulator. Comb filter, there was a more succinct little description of it on the website, which I should probably have brought up, but imagine preparing for a stream. Silliest shit ever. So, this one's a little harder to parse when the track is actually playing. Speaking of, let's just go ahead and drag it onto the DAW, so I don't have to keep this window open. We can just let this play in the background. So, first effect, Commulator. Comb filter. Not sure what it does, we'll just play with the knobs and see what it does. So apparently it's a scuff sort of chorus idea. I'm sure that'll be useful when we get to it. So yeah, like we said, just goofy little effects. Nothing too clean or standard. This is all just weird shit. Also, Suke, welcome to the stream. Pleasure to see you. And now, the slicer. This one's effect is a little more obvious, even at the defaults. Yes, Ariel, that's a good way to test any plugin. Can't really know what they do unless you actually play with them. So, this is the slicer. This pedal should look familiar to you if you're familiar with guitar pedals, and if you're not, it's basically a whammy pedal. I believe Digitech is the most famous one who does it, but cut the sound from a guitar, like a noise gate put in the hands of your kid while you're playing. So in other words, if you're familiar with the term kill switch, same idea. Not to be confused with the band Kill Switch Engage. Which is funny because I don't believe they've used that effect at all, despite that being in their name. Whatever the case, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the effect goes something like this. So, yeah, like that. Obviously, a pretty goofy little sound effect there, but can be useful in the right context. I believe the most famous use of that effect would be Green Day's Boulevard of Broken Dreams. The intro part. That's probably the most famous use of that. So, next effect, Lasernator. So it's based on feedback. So the effect on this is probably not going to be too obvious considering we've got a just basic DI at the moment, but we'll just see how it works with it anyways. Well, that's a little more pronounced than I was expecting. On the bright side, I've sort of been wondering how to get that sort of feedback effect that you hear at the end of certain songs anyway, so at the very least, I know what I'm going to use that for in any future songs. Because obviously, metal, feedback. So, yeah, that'll be useful to me in later projects, probably not this one. We'll get to what I plan to do in this, we'll get to how I'm going to use this in my particular song later. For now, we're going to move on to the next effect, Filtrator. So, synth diode ladder filter. Basically just a weird-ass EQ curve, is the simplest way to put it. So, I'm better off showing you as opposed to telling you. Let's take a listen. Trippy, just like everything else in this bundle. Although, I would probably use a cumulator for that sort of effect, but I'm sure that has its use. So, next effect, Convoluter. It's basically just a reverb. You know what this sounds like, but if you don't, let's go over it anyways. So yeah, that's a whole bunch of weird sounds. So that's actually my first time hearing Impulse 8. I can actually see that being useful in certain other songs. Not for this one, though, again. I'll tell you my plans for this song later on. Okay, Super Phaser. This is a phaser plugin. A little more obvious use here. But again, I'm better off showing you rather than telling you, so take a listen. So yeah, don't set the rate too high, otherwise it'll sound like a bunch of farts. Good to know. That's not the sound I'm going for, that's for damn sure. So, delay attack. So, the gimmick on this one is that it only activates when you hit the strings very hard, and bypasses it when you play softly. Yes, again, very amusing, but that's not what I'm going for this stream. So, I'm not sure if this one will actually work, at least with this part, because again, if you see the description, it activates only when you hit the strings hard and bypasses it when you play softly. So, let's see what it sounds like. Okay, that sounds significantly cooler than I expected it to. Well, damn. Yeah, this thing surprises even me. Yeah, there's a lot of depth to this. I've only just been playing with this for the last, like, hour or so, you never guess. I can see that being really useful later. Anyways, next effect, the Crusher. Get the most ugly, distorted, crushed sound you can think of. And not in the HM2 chainsaw sort of way. This one, they're not fucking around when they say this thing destroys tones. So, I'll demonstrate it anyways, but fucking watch your ears. Yeah, that thing is ridiculous. I'm not sure I'll... It's gonna take me some real ingenuity to figure out a use for that one. That's crazy. So, moving swiftly along. Microcassette. Pretty much exactly what it says on the tin. It's, emulating a cassette tape. You know, the usual, lo-fi sort of idea. That's the hot shit these days, right? So let's see what this one's about. Yeah, that's pretty clearly what they're going for this one. This is some indie sort of alt-rock sort of shit, so well, I guess this is the plugin you should be experimenting with, Zop. As for me, this is really going to be a bit more niche use case. A few of these I could see using past this particular stream, but the rest of them, I don't know, might require some ingenuity. Carousing Cockatiel. That name looks awfully familiar to me, but welcome to the stream. Pleasure to see you. What is up is that we are playing with some weird-ass guitar effects. And we are about to move on to my personal favorite of this bundle. Niagara Falls. Another reverb plugin. But this one's a little more atmospheric. More, reverby? I don't know. I'll just demonstrate. So yeah, much more angelic, more, pleasant, so to speak. Oh, Jolly, that's right. I had a feeling, this did seem like the sort of username you would use, yeah, welcome to the stream. And, I relate more to Ariel and Zop on that particular conversation, metal is my comfort zone. So, yeah. I would say, if you're going to check out nothing else from this plugin, then I would say this one would be the one you want to play with. Sounds wonderful, without much effort at all. And now, Meow Meow Pedal. So it's basically a wah-wah pedal, except it doesn't go wah-wah, it goes meow meow. very fitting if you know who my favorite streamer is. So, obviously, they expect you to have a MIDI pedal for this, but you can probably do some auto sort of idea with this if you have the... There's probably some knob to do it with. We can... I'll just try to demonstrate anyways, because they're saying coarse knob is what changes it, so let's just check it out. So, yeah, obviously, I need to mess with automation or something. I'm gonna do that. Also, Spike, pleasure to see you. Good to see you, man. I don't know if you're a musician yourself, but I could see this being this is sort of a garage rock sort of plugin here, so it's not too far away from punk if you really think about it. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Alright, next one, Marshalizer EQ. This one's tone stack emulation, so a little less of an obvious use here. Pretty much an amp in a box sort of pedal, if I'm following it right. You can see right here, bass, medium, treble. Exact knobs you would see on a guitar amp. Which means it's probably not going to sound too good without an impulse after it, but we will try it out anyways. And as I expected, the effects on that are pretty damn subtle. Not the sort of thing you can really guess what it does if you're just playing with it. Obviously, it'd be more obvious if I had the rest of the signal chain up, but I do not. So, we'll just move along to the next plugin, Little Leslie. So to explain this one, the Leslie is a very famous rotating speaker that was used very heavily in the 70s. Very trippy sort of reverb kind of sound. Power Nelson, the hero. Good to see you, sir. What's on the menu is some weird-ass guitar plugins. And a song with them, but I'm only just about to finish demonstrating the plugins themselves, so you'll have to bear with me while I finish that. And yes, I would say it's pretty tasty. The effects that I've played with sound pretty promising already. You can get some creative set here. Some real weird sounds. So, back on track, let's demonstrate the Little Leslie. I really hope Twitch doesn't like compress it to mono or something, because that would be a very hard effect to parse if you're just wanting to do it mono. Yeah, funny you mentioned that, Mr. Nelson. Technically, I'm actually not making electronic music. I'm making... Or no, I am sort of making electronic music, but I'm making electronic music that's attempting to imitate live music. Koneko Hero, thank you for following. Pleasure to see you. And hello, Harriet. Pleasure to see you in the stream. Glad you could make it. So, yeah. Trip this particular plugin is. And now for the final one. The Sideways. An auto swell effect. This is going to be hard to segment it. Well, I hope that's the case, because a lot of these are pretty subtle. If it gets compressed to mono, then that'll really fuck with your perception of these plugins. They won't work. It needs to be stereo at the very least. Anyways, let's demonstrate our last plugin, Sideways, Auto Swell. Well, in that case, this is a good plugin you should check out, because there are a whole bunch of, like half of these plugins can basically double as scuff choruses, so, wouldn't hurt to check them out. So, Sideways, let's demonstrate it. So yeah, half of these plugins can double as choruses, including this one, apparently. So, yeah. Which is funny because this is supposed to be a swell effect, so, apparently I just don't have the right part to demonstrate this. So, that's all the plugins on their own, but we still have presets to demonstrate. And a lot of these, yeah, spoilers, I've already decided which plugins we're going to be using. But we'll get to that when we actually write the song. So, come to think of it, it's probably insert a bass. Why not? Virtual instrument on new track. Just future-proofing ourselves here. And this should not take that long to load. Where'd it go? No, I do not want it. I'm fine with this one track. So if we put this up, we'll just go ahead and copy this effect over, just to see what the preset does. And just put in a basic-ass groove, just so we can demonstrate. Check for 4, just straight quarter notes, because who gives a shit? I'm just demonstrating. So, distorted bass. Well, that's not my idea of distorted bass, but then again, this is not a very metal-centric plugin, so you can't expect that. Alright, that's not a very specific question, Mr. Nelson, but I will go over everything anyways. So the entire plugin, everything you see in this window here, this is Reaper. This is my digital audio workstation. It's a, sort of on the lower end of the professional grades. Just a basic personal use license is only $60. That's very reasonable. But if you can't even spring that, they have an infinite free demo that just nags you to buy it for 5 seconds every time you boot it. So if you're a complete cheap ass, then it shouldn't be that hard to deal with, but I still recommend buying it. The fine developers behind this, who I will not name because we've already had a fart joke in the stream, I don't need to give you more reasons to make immature jokes, but the developers behind this deserve the money if I say so. Been using this for 10 years, been serving me very well. Just a great piece of software in general. As for the plugin that I'm using, the VST, which is half the point of using a DAW, these are just sort of what you use to make music. It can range from an instrument to effects, like today. Just all fine. Well, Reaper obviously not. That's a cool name. I was talking about the developer's name. Well, no skirting around it now. The developers of Reaper, the company name is Kakos. Yes, Kakos. spelled pretty much exactly as you would expect. Don't laugh, they're a good company. But yes, so, plugin. This is Guitar Gadgets by Musical Entropy. Says so right here. And I should probably move it over this way. Guitar Gadgets by Musical Entropy. It's pretty much a bundle of effects all in one plugin. Full of all sorts of trippy-ass guitar pedals that you can use to get really weird sounds. So the bass I'm using, this is Tune Track Easy Bass. Because, of course, you may be familiar with Easy Drummer. This is newer. I believe summer 2019. I think it only just turned... Or maybe it was 2020. I don't recall which. But either way, it's a very new plugin. But a very good plugin, as you would expect from a company with a pedigree of Tune Track. Matter of fact, if you're familiar with Easy Drummer, it works almost exactly the same way. Just a whole lot of MIDI tracks here. There's a whole lot of ways to edit a part. Just a very useful plugin in general. Obviously, there are some great free options as far as bass libraries, but obviously, with the amount of bug testing and the resources that a company can afford, this one is obviously very worth using. Jolly, I just got through explaining this. The workstation is Reaper. The main plugin we're looking at is Guitar Gadgets, and this plugin is Easy Bass. Oh, that's right, I was checking out presets. So, let's get back to that. So, those are the two bass. Shit. Apparently they have a funky bass preset, but fuck it, I don't feel like reopening everything. Dragging everything. So, let's go back to guitar. Auto Meow, why not? Let's hear what this is about. A little less obvious. Yeah, that's right, Terry. Yes, I do very highly recommend both of the Tune Track plugins, but yes. Welcome to the stream, Saint. We haven't even started writing the music. I'm just demonstrating what the plugin I'm using today is about. So, here we go, a little series of presets. But they're out of order, thanks to the fact that they're listed alphabetically. So, I'm going to take a creative liberty. We're just going to strip down to nice little phasing. Let's see what this is about. Just about exactly what it says on the tin. Just nice, almost subtle little phase effect. So you can expect that its big brothers are going to be significantly crazier. So, dirty little phasing. Let's hear what this is about. So yeah, that one's a little harder to... Those two are pretty hard to distinguish unless you put them side by side, but obviously they would both have their uses, otherwise they wouldn't be here. So, next up, the oldest brother. Even dirtier little phasing. This is going to be some crazy shit, I expect. And just as I expected, it was pretty nutty. A Although, this will probably be a good time to mention a feature that I've actually glossed over so far. So, you can actually use up to 4 of these plugins at the exact same time. 4 entire slots to use these on. Which is very useful, so you don't have to, waste CPU having a whole shitload of, these, having a whole bunch of copies of these, eating into your computer's resources, your CPU, your RAM, all that shit. You don't have to do that. You can just load them right in here. Very useful. So, next up, Fuzz Gadget. This is probably going to be, I'm expecting a face melter here. Let's take a look. Yeah, especially with this. With this in the mix, you know you're in for some, rough times. Let's listen. Yeah, that's fucking insane. That's crazy. Like, I thought my preferred HM2 plugin was insane, but no, that's on another level. I don't want to call it unpleasant, but it's, yeah, weird. Weird is probably the best way to put it. Then again, most of these are pretty weird. Maximum compression, exactly. Alright. Yeah, only ever used it in dubstep. Well, as I've already established, I'm, not the, I don't know what I'm doing as far as electronic genres go. You put me in front of a synthesizer, I'm not going to know what I'm doing. Which I really should fix at some point, but I'm trapped in my ways and I've been busy preparing for getting my live to be ready. But, not that I've, done that, I should have time to get back into that particular swing, but onwards and upwards. So, next one, Rockstar. And once again, this is part of the mix. All 4 of them. Well, this is going to be a trip. Yeah, if you're any sons like that, you should probably call Odd Tinkering or something. But, yeah, so that preset's more than a little crazy. And last one, that is guitar specific, slow full chords. Which is probably not going to work with this particular part, but we will try that anyways. So yeah, I think the initial was supposed to be what the, what it was supposed to sound like roughly, but yeah, this is really not a good guitar part to show off auto-swelling. But I'm fucking lazy, and I want to get to actually writing my own song, so we will just move on. Special effects destroy everything. Gee, I wonder what this is gonna do. Yeah, the feedback pedal and this crazy distortion, both. Geronimo. Well, that's what that one does. Yeah, hold music. Sounds about right. And then you turn it on, and it's suddenly just guitar feedback like you would hear. I am still, glad at the very least that I, found this pedal, because again, this is the exact sort of effect I've wanted at the end of some of my songs. So, I'm glad I picked it up, picked up. I said that like this is something you buy, and no, this is actually a free plugin. I should have mentioned that much earlier. This is a free plugin, so if you want to mess with it, just look it up, and it should be available to download someplace. Alright, next special effect, Modulation Playground. So this is another one where should be more or less exactly what they say it is. Let's listen. So that preset's a lot more pleasant, if also a lot more alien. But obviously, you wouldn't mind that. You should know what this plugin's about by now. And yes, I do highly recommend grabbing it. These are all pretty useful in their own way. Some might have some rather niche use cases, but use cases nonetheless. Alright, next up, Outer Space. Here we go with another plugin that should be pretty much exactly what it says. Sure sounds spacey to me. Alright, and next up, more space. Spatial Adventures. Something that's titled to some shitty sci-fi kids show. Or maybe a good sci-fi kids show. Can't judge a show by its title. Sounds more spacey than the last preset, if you ask me. And last up for special effects, Special Tape Recorder. Well, yeah, Silent Hill vibes. You just gave me the perfect opportunity to spoil what I plan on writing for my song, but I'll leave it as a very not subtle hint. How's that? So, microcassette, Special Tape Recorder. Yes, indeed. And now, last up, 2 synth presets. Whatever, I do what I want. I don't feel like busting out the synths, so I'll use these on guitar if I feel like it. Although my lad knows like I could have also used the bass presets on here, but onwards and upwards. Funny autofilter. Let's see what's so funny about this. I guess I mean funny weird. Although that wouldn't be very specific. That's this entire plugin so far. Alright. And final preset. Lead sounds. And once again, I probably don't have the right part to demonstrate this, but fuck it. And that's all of them. So, very nice little set of effects, some nice little presets we got going on. But, of course, I've also made a couple of my own, which I will go ahead and show right now. Yes, very good stuff, very good stuff. The perfect little plugin to have if you want to do trippy shit. Gotta love it. Alright, so here are the presets I made right before stream. Involving both the kill switch and the phaser. Have a listen. So yeah, that's a lot of tremolo, isn't it? I don't know what you want me to say. Us metal guys are all about the tremolo. Trem picking, trem effects, why not? Yeah. Well, I suppose we are doing some spacey shit here, but that's not exactly my intent, but we'll get to that. Right after I demonstrate the second preset that I'll be using. These will come after, see, as you might expect from the names, these are going to be working in tandem, the way I'm going to be using them. So this is just reverb, basically. Reverb with a little swirly effect. So yeah, that should be cool. Nice techno-babble, Jolly. Alright, so with that, I have demonstrated the plugin in its entirety. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and fucking write some music finally. So, what kind of music will I be writing with this? Horror ambience. That's what I'm going to be writing. I'm trying to spook you. You're in for some scary ass shit. If I do this right. But I think I have some idea what to do, so let's try to spook you. Why not? So, of course, to do that, put in the MIDI item. Good question, Jolly. I am, unfortunately, not the man you want to ask. Ragtime is one of my blind spots. Which is probably because it's an offshoot of jazz, which is an genre that I have zero idea what to do. Make me right. I don't know. Donate or something? I don't know. Subscribe? Fucking, I don't know. Alright, so we will be, first I gotta get the note names loaded, so I know what I'm doing. Gotta make sure I'm working within range and not hitting a key switch by accident. That would make this sound rather silly. So, I think I'm just gonna elect to keep it in standard tuning sort of idea. So, we'll snap to E minor, why not? E minor. So, I think I'm just going to work with power chords just to make sure, I don't really have a justification for that. I'm just trying to, make it look, just a good start, you know. Guitarist, you gotta think about it. Just, think of it that way. Wait, now what am I thinking? Tritones, that's what I should be doing. So if I insert a chord, dyads, or no. Oh wait, no, that's right. They're in scales. So key snap E, and we'll just go ahead and, chords, there we go. Chords, power chords, 1x, flat 5. The mighty tritone. Whoops, forgot to mute this. So So yeah, that's immediately a rather spooky sound, but now that I think about it, I should probably... No, I'm not feeling that immediately. I think I'd rather... Third. Let's move to the third. That's more like it. Do they have a flat third? Because that's major. And I want a minor sound. This is a spooky sort of idea. Flat third. There we go. There we go. That's more like it. So yeah, there's the idea here. We're doing dyads. And I just realized I probably overcomplicated this somewhat. So yeah, we can just stick to snapping to the scale, and I can just insert the chords as they come. That said, I think I'd rather snap to the Phrygian mode, so that we can move to the chord that is chromatically up a step. A minor second, as the music nerds call it. Which is the one of the two creepiest intervals you can possibly go for, the other being the flat fifth, which you just saw me try to mess with. So, there we go. Insert chord. And then Phrygian, the next chord is a major second. Whoops. There we go. Let's see how it sounds. Let's make sure I'm not doing anything too stupid here. Perfect. So, I don't know what I do for the very next chord, but I know what I want to do for the last chord of the progression. Although, speaking of, I should probably extend this out a bit. 8-measure idea, but I want the chord to fill out 2 measures. There we go. And again, I don't know what to do for chord... I don't know what I want to do for chord 3 quite yet, but I do know where I want to go next, where I want to end on. This is where we introduce the tritone I was talking about. But before I do that, I need to snap back to a little Aeolian. Okay, D. Or, wait, no. F sharp, that's right, F sharp. I forgot the diminished chord was the second in a minor key. The diminished being the last chord would be a harmonic minor. Yeah, but you know what, I'd rather just experiment with that first. So, we'll go to harmonic minor, Aeolian 7. So we'll insert an E-flat tritone. What? I said click over here. Key snap. E harmonic minor. And now we snap in the chord. This should be how it works. Diminished, augmented. Diminished, there we go. Get rid of this last note because we're only interested in the tritone. Oops. Didn't mean to delete it. Silly me, I forgot that was the 5th. That was the 3rd that I deleted. Alright. Yeah, plenty of room to breathe. And again, I don't know what I want to do here, but I do know how I want to end it. Like that. Perfect. And we'll just put an F-sharp power chord, why not? Because it's technically out of the key, but we're doing horror, we want crazy dissonance anyways, so... Diads 5th, there we go. We gotta scoot that out. So let's see how this sounds as a whole. Nice and unsettling, nice and weird. We'll send it for the moment. And of course, now that we have that decided, it's time for us to add the gimmicks. Which is, if I bring it here, that's right, bring out the gadgets. Load up the first preset. Would be nice if they gave me the option to duplicate this, but I'll have to settle for just copying and pasting it. And with this, well, the second preset. But obviously, we're not done here. I need to load up some guitar amp simulation and cabinet simulation. Well, really just the cabinet simulation. For this, we're just going to stick with a clean tone for this. We don't need to really go balls to the wall metal. So, to that effect, I will not be using an actual amp sim. I will strictly be using a power amp simulation. TPA1. Ariel, if you're still watching, this is a plugin that I highly recommend you look into as well. Because especially when you start experimenting with other amp sims, this will give it a nice little je ne sais quoi. This is a power amp simulation, which is one of the critical components of an amplifier. Before this would be the tone stack, as it were called. As a matter of fact, it gives me an idea. Enable slot 3. And if I find Marshallizer, there we go. Tone stack. So the tone stack and the power amp work in tandem in any given guitar amp. So, I'm not quite sure how I want to shape the tone yet, because I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me bring up my app sim. So, this plugin right here, this is Impulsive by 3 Sigma Audio. However, this is a commercial plugin that's somewhat expensive. I cannot recommend this unless you specifically use 3 Sigma's impulses that they also sell. Reason being that they optimize, I don't know how they can tell that it's their own impulses or whatnot, but they specifically designed their impulses to work with this particular impulse loader. That said, you can just stick to NatIR, if I just show that off real quick. I'm not going to use it, but I'll just show it to you for the sake of demonstration. This is NatIR. This is a free impulse response loader that you can use with the 3 Sigma plugins, the 3 Sigma impulses, except for the fact that results will vary, as they say. Pardon the tangent. We will get back on track. I will be using Impulsive because I'll be using their impulse responses. Agna 1x12. An emulation of an Agnator cabinet that is 1x12. So to explain what these mean briefly. So you see the numbers 112, 212, 412. That basically means how many speakers are in a given cabinet. So for instance, sold 2x12, that's based on a Solano cabinet that has 2 speakers that are both 12 inches in length. The 4x12 is 4 speakers that are 12 inches in length. But today we'll be using a 1x12, which is 1 speaker. So if you go into the guitar store and you just see one of those cheap little combo amps, or very expensive combo amps, the really small ones, that will probably have a 1x12 speaker in it. And I'm using that because that's what I want for a clean tone. Because one of the main reasons you would want a bigger cabinet is more low end, just a beefier low end. Which is what you want if you're doing distorted tones, but we're doing cleans. That's not what I want. I want nice, intimate, shimmery sort of tone, so we use a 1x12. And this is how Three Sigma labels their particular impulses. They go from balanced to bright, extra bright, and warm. So balance means exactly what it means. The equalization is fairly balanced. Bright means it's brighter. Bright X means it's bright as a motherfuck. And this is mostly for clean tones, which is exactly what I want. And then finally warm is higher low end. So if you want some woodier, warmer sort of clean tones, like something a bit more vintage, this is what you would want. But again, I want bright. And then further, they have 5 different tones with 2 different preamp captures. So if I just load one up. So the 1A was captured with a warmer sort of preamp, which adds low end. B was made with something solid state, a little more clinical, so less low end, which is most likely what I want. So, with all this out of the way, let's dial in our tone. Which means picking an impulse in this case. I should really lower the velocities on these. That's a little too intense. So we're at 127. That's not what I want. Let's bring it down to 70. Why not? So that sounded nice and spooky. Except for the fact that I need to keep that playing, so I can choose the right impulse. Yeah, sounds like a plan, okay. Well, I guess we're going with 5B. Also, I forgot to mention this. It also comes with a built-in high pass and low pass. In other words, killing either very high frequencies very low frequencies or very high frequencies. Now this is a clean tone, I want it nice and bright, so I'm going to leave the high end alone, but obviously, low end's gotta go. So, I suppose that's how we're going to do it. Nice and spooky. Exactly what I'm going for. Yes, indeed, she is, doing the networking. Precisely what we need. Alright, so, next order of business. next order of business is... Yeah, I suppose we might as well just tune the preamp a little while we're at it. So, sounding nice and spooky, but I just got one last silly little idea. Probably not gonna sound like much in this particular context, but might as well experiment. So, if we put on one more instance of impulsive, and move it right after the guitar synthesizer, but before the first instance of our gadgets. 3 Sigma pickups. So, I'm in the mood to experiment with making this guitar sound like a different guitar. These are the 3 Sigma pickup impulses, and that is their purpose. Because Metal GTX is apparently based on a PRS guitar, which is fine and dandy, but I feel like improvising a bit. I'm more in the mood to make it sound like a single coil guitar. Because the guitar that comes standard on this is what is called a humbucker. So it's pretty much 2 single coils double up. And the reason you would do that is because it kills noise. Hence the name humbucker. You get rid of the hum. You buck the hum. Electro, good to see you. Pleasure to see you. We're making some weird-ass horror ambience with some crazy guitar pedals. Having a lot of fun here. So, 3 Sigma pickups. So, my 2 options are either a Strato or Teller. These are based on either one of 2 of Fender's classic guitars, the Stratocaster and the Telecaster, both of which have their own distinct sounds. I think I'll experiment with the Telecaster first. And they give us the option humbucker or single coil. Obviously, we want to use you pick this based on what guitar you are altering. And again, well, that's a matter of personal preference, but I just felt like I'm going to check out the Telecaster first. We're picking humbucker, 44.1. Alright, and we need to do some alteration to this. But I forget exactly what I need to do off the top of my head, so you'll have to excuse me for a minute while I go look at the manual. Alright, so apparently this is the manual for the electric impulses. And we're all past this shit. So, first we need to max out the output. Humbucker to single coil, master all the way up. And then positions 1 through 5 go from darkest to brightest. Soften the volume. So boost the channel volume of positions 4 to 5 by 15%. Alright. So that's what I gotta do. And now I throw up the loading screen again so I can switch back to the DAW. very brief, very brief. So, master all the way up, because we're probably going to want to use a bright impulse. Output all the way up. So, let's do a little comparison. Let's see how exactly it sounds. 65%, gotta make sure that's right. So, let's do a little before and after. So it's not making all the difference in the world, but it's adding a slight little flavor that I like. We'll send it. Fuck it. And T-Bird, pleasure to see you. Welcome to me fooling around with some crazy-ass effects. We're making a horror ambience today. With this plugin that I spent an hour meddling with, just showing people what it's about. So, back on task. That's this part finished. So, we'll just go ahead and copy this part over because I don't feel like making a proper bass line. So, let's make a little single chain improvised right here. Because obviously we need something a little more ambient. This preset's probably not going to play too well with it that I have on right now. Yeah, big surprise, no. Yeah, then again, I like how this goes, so, fuck it. We'll use this plugin, but not with those, parameters. So, let me find it again. Right, there we go. Step 1, let's enable the second slot. I don't particularly feel like altering it anymore, so let's say it just plays with our main track. Alright, so far this is more or less exactly what I want. Something creepy, unsettling. Fucking weird. Perfect so far. So, just so I don't have to waste time setting all the parameters again, let's duplicate this track. I want to do a lead part. Quote-unquote lead part. So, we'll snap to E harmonic minor. Whatever happens, I just want a B. Alright. That said, I probably want to alter the, Okay, this one I'll leave alone, but this one... I think I'll replace this with... this. God, that's not working how I expected it to. I guess I have to go a little more unsubtle than that. God, I feel like a fucking anime character that's about to use that forbidden attack that their master didn't want them to use. And now I have one more idea. If I can find... There we go. Perfect, alright. This is what I'm after here. With one more, if I put that feedback thing back here... So I basically got the perfect opening for this already. So let's scoot these parts over a couple measures. Whoops. So let's copy these over, and then bring this, whoops, just this, bring this over for an encore performance. Now, I think for the second rep I want to add an arpeggiated sort of part. Probably a simple sort of chord. Just add to the unsettling sort of vibe. And to that effect, we will duplicate this track again. I should probably name these while I'm at it, just so I don't get completely lost. We'll name this Dyads, we'll name this ARP, this one Lead Noise, and there we go. Nice and simple. Impossible to get lost. So let's delete this. Insert another MIDI item. I don't know what... Okay, now I do know. Quarter notes. I want these arpeggios to be snapped to a quarter note. E. Whoops. Too high. There we go. Yeah, you can really get the feedback on that one. That's what I'm after right there. Diminished. Let's see. Either a diminished or an augmented. Insert arpeggio. Yeah, we'll start with augmented. Send it. Yeah, this is sounding fucking weird, man. This is exactly what I'm after. Alright. Let's hear how it all sounds together. So that's way too fucking loud, I know that much. Let's see how it is now. So yeah, that's basically exactly what I want. Something trippy, scary, fucking spooky. Let's see, that said, there's still one more rep I want to do, but I'm not sure what exactly to add to this. Actually, yes, I do know what I want to add to it. We'll take all of these. Insert another MIDI item. Except that this isn't going to work with this particular preset. So let's duplicate this track again. Get rid of this. Get rid of these two tracks. Go in here. Let's see. This has got to go. All right. All right. One quarter. And we'll just loop this over and over again. Just pure repetition. That's what's going to make it somewhat intelligible. Because sure, I want to make it scary and unsettling, but I still want some grounding. So, let's hear how everything sounds all together. Alright, so most of what I want, but the distortion's gotta go on this one. Alright, let's hear how it sounds now. I'm not getting quite the sound I wanted this. A little too much attack there for my particular tastes. Then again, this probably means more velocity. Fuckery. 78, why not? Let's see if that fixed it. Yes, it did. All right. So, I'm just about ready to give the song an ending. So, bring it over here. The MIDI item. Everybody gets a new MIDI item. Basic A here. And apparently we're ending with a C here. We'll be basically ending with an E here. And we'll end this one with the same triad that we used over there. And once again, all together. You scared yet, kids? Alright, great success. So now we'll just leave this to let it bring out. And I think that's a wrap on this particular song. Fantastic. Great. So we'll give it... First of all, I need to shorten this note slightly. But now, we'll give it one last listen through with... Yeah, I hope you're not too sick of the song, because I want to give it one more listen through just to make sure that the feedback dies at the right time. Just let things ring out. Let the ending of the song breathe. Alright. Absolutely perfect. Sweet. Jackass. So, I'm real happy with that. I don't know about the rest of you. Yep, most unsettling. Exactly what I was going for. Thank you, White Maids. I'm glad you appreciated it. Knew what I was going for. Hell yeah. So, the moral of the stream. I guess moral one is go get guitar gadgets. Very easy to, So the thing is, you can't just, you don't have to just make scary songs with this. Scary songs, Jesus. Man, I haven't even been drinking. I have no excuse for that sort of stutter. But, yes, so. If it sounds good to you, go ahead and use it. Because the thing is, it was actually more intended for sort of indie, alternative, music that's a bit more bubbly than this, but, obviously I'm not one to use the mainstream, use things in a mainstream way, in an intended way. I like to experiment a bit. I'm a bit of a tinkerer. I like to, push certain effects to their absolute limits. And just, see exactly what I can do with a certain, effect. That plus, yeah. So, conclusion 2. I'm really glad I got to do a music stream again. I miss doing these. I don't know how many of you missed watching them, but I'm glad that I had a number of viewers. I'm glad you decided to come watch. Because I will admit, a bit of the reason I stopped doing this is because they weren't getting all that many views, but then I realized, fuck the views, I just like doing these in general. This is just what I find fun. But you decided to come along for the ride anyway, so that just made it worth it anyways. Fuck the numbers, I'm just gonna do what I enjoy. And that means I will be more than happy to bring these back to the regular rotation. Because the thing is, I was sort of a... yeah, I figured you would enjoy that, Ariel. You in particular did seem like the sort of person who would enjoy this particular sort of stream. Just seeing how I do. So, yeah. The thing is, in my career as both a Vroid and a PNG, I felt like I had a bit of trouble finding balance. Because the first couple of months I was doing this is actually all I was doing. It was nothing but Reaper Doll streams. But then, ever since getting my new computer, getting my PNG, that particular era, that's been nothing but gaming streams so far. So, I feel like I need to, I feel like I'm finally at a point where I can actually give a bit more variety. Strike a bit more of a balance. You get both game streams and music streams if I have anything to say about it. Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty pleased. Things are progressing pretty well so far. So with that, I believe it is time to call it a stream. The song's done, I've shut off the program, I've done basically everything I wanted to. Not much reason to really pad it out anymore. Twitch doesn't like it if you stream for under 2 hours, but that's not how I do. I'm an all killer, no filler sort of man. I don't like just padding things for the sake of padding them. So, I would say that's the end of the stream. So, thank you all very much for coming. Expect more of these in the very near future. I'm looking forward to doing more of these. I miss doing them. It was, see, making music is fun. I'm sort of miss doing it for an audience. Because sure, I like just privately doing music, but I'm also a bit more of an open book with this sort of thing. I like showing people the process. Showing them how I got from point A to point B. It's just nice. It's a way to hold me accountable. So, yeah, thanks again for coming. I believe it's time for us to select our customary raid target. We got Koopa, Nyaru, Kongo, my boy Carmine, and Arthur Abbott. So, I would say the two obvious choices are either Koopa or Arthur, just because I've never raided either of them before. I'm leaning more towards Arthur just because he's a bit more in my league, so to speak. But, obviously your opinion matters to me too, so let me know your preference. Again, I would prefer Arthur, but I also don't mind doing Koopa either. Going to Koopa either, let me rephrase that. Yeah, she's not in my league in multiple ways, let's put it that way. Yeah, so, Arthur or Koopa? Arthur or Koopa? Let me know, let me know. It's an either or. Hard decision. Very hard decision. I swear to God I'm not padding, I'm just waiting for feedback here. If only Dai was here. He'd be able to tell me how to make those stupid Twitch polls that I do not know how to do. Okay, White Mage votes Arthur. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yeah, fuck it. We're going Arthur. Alright. So, yeah, thanks again for coming. See you in my next stream, whenever that's going to be. It's most likely going to be some sort of guerrilla stream sometime Saturday night after the dive kick tournament, because that's where you'll be seeing me next, possibly. I'll be participating in Congo's dive kick tournament. Dive, as he very cleverly called it. Just like my main in dive kick, Mr. Dive. I'm feeling pretty confident about that. I was sort of hoping... I'm kind of hoping to get a little more practice, if not today, then sometime tomorrow. Because I just like playing that game. I find it fun, but on the other hand, I also need to practice. But I'll have to ask around for that. So yeah, next stream, probably sometime Saturday night. Don't hold your breath on that, though. I may change my mind. Depends on how I'm feeling after the tournament. But either way, that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for hanging out. Expect more music streams, more gaming streams, just more varied content in general. And with that, let us go say hello to Mr. Arthur A. Abbott. Thank you all. Have a good one.